This is the DTV Digest, the podcast that brings you news and reviews of films which didn't make it to the cinema. And now, here's your host, Mike Parkin.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the DTV Digest. I'm your host, Mike Parkin, and joining me tonight are Stephen Lockridge.
Hello.
And Amanda Robertson.
Hi.
This week, we've got 5 main reviews to talk about. We're going to kick off with an evil kid movie called Adopted, followed by Itch, one that Steve's really looking forward to. Then we have the low-budget Only Fangs, and the Polish historical drama Scarborn. And then we have a very interesting film called Touch Me. Our short shot this week is Last Stand on Hoth, which is a Star Wars fan film. And then in our DTV Throwback, we've got Wesley Snipes in The Marksman. So without further ado, let's crack on. Our first film then is Adopted. A couple's hopes of adopting the perfect child unravel as their new son reveals a dark side, bringing terror into their lives. That's not spoilerish at all, because this is a film which wears its premise on its sleeve, and leaves absolutely no doubt as to the nature of this kid at all. Now, a few years ago, we had Orphan, and in the sequel. This plays it a bit more straight than that. It doesn't have that sort of bizarre twist of like, oh, actually, it's a covert operative from the Cold War or anything like that. And I did like how totally unsubtle this kid is in his, the things he does. And it's just like the adult's, initial refusal to believe anything bad could be done. That sort of allows him to get away with things as long as he does. Steve, what did you make of this one?
It's cheap. It's quite nasty, not nasty, but you know what I mean.
Mean-spirited?
Yeah, in a way. Now, one thing that got me as well is when it started, it had a trigger warning.
Oh, about the child abuse and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, does it really need it? You know, I'm one of these. You know what you're getting into when you're watching something. I don't think everything needs a bloody trigger warning. I'll be honest. Yeah, but it was over the top. I mean, to be fair, the kids' acting was terrible as well. I thought it was awful. Everything was just so fake about it, and yeah, it's not good. It's just and apparently there's a sequel as well. I've just found on IMDb. There's another one.
Oh, wonderful. I do agree with the acting. I think it was. I don't know. It's almost soap opera-ish.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the audacity of some of it. Amanda, what did you make of Adopted?
Yeah, I didn't really connect with this one. It was kind of hard to have any sympathy for the parents, because why did they adopt another child?
Oh yeah, that
few
was
weeks later?
stupid. Yeah,
You've had him for 5 minutes.
exactly.
Are you that bored already? Also, I thought it was kind of taking itself a little bit too seriously, and then it sort of went bonkers. Which I don't think really meshed well. If the whole thing was just absolutely bonkers from start to finish, I'd have probably had a good time with it.
There's a scene sort of about halfway through where he kills his friend.
Yep.
He basically breaks into the house, grabs a gun, and shoots him in the head, and then stages it to look like, oh yeah, he must have been playing with the gun, and it went off in his hand, sort of thing. Which is a bit crazy. Yeah, but after it smashed his face into the coffee table, that was a weird little detail. But anyway, it's just because we're seeing both sides of it. There's no ambiguity for the audience. For example, the first Child's Play movie. It took ages before you see Chucky actually doing anything. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
so, and there's other examples where you're thinking, oh, is anything actually happening, or is it, have they fallen off the wagon, or are they deluded? But no, we're shown exactly what this kid's doing, and
Well, yeah, the thing is, I mean, like, it starts off, you see him, he's in the police room or whatever,
hmm,
and it's flashing back to him basically killing his family or
yeah,
whatever. But the thing that got me is, right, so you don't see him kill the next door neighbour's nephew or whatever.
hmm,
It does come about 5-10 minutes later.
yeah,
You know what I mean? When it's like after
it's
the
afterwards,
tune,
but
yeah.
yeah,
But why?
hmm,
If you're going to show it at the time. I don't see why you show it 10 minutes later.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just,
It's trying to have this cake and eat it too, isn't it?
yeah,
Basically,
yeah.
Hmm,
I just think a lot of the decisions, like stuff like that, just didn't make sense.
mhm.
And yeah, he was poorly. I mean, I think it's a 2 original, isn't it? Really,
Hmm.
and you can tell.
I mean, maybe I'll check out some of his other bits, but yeah, I wasn't particularly impressed with this one either. On that note, how are you going to score it, Steve?
Give it a 5.
Yeah, and Amanda.
Yeah, probably same 5.
Good start to the week. This one, yeah, 3 5s for Adopted. Go check it out. Our next film is Itch. As an outbreak makes people scratch themselves to death, strangers take refuge in a department store where panic spreads faster than the infection. This is by any other name, Night of the Living Dead, Amanda.
Yeah, Night of the Living Dead, the
Basically.
Mist, all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically taken that blueprint and run with it. So instead of a secluded house, we've got a kind of like a bodega store, I guess. A bit more upmarket than that, sort of like hardware store, where this guy is standing in for his dad. He's got his daughter with him, and they witness somebody scratching themselves to death in the store, and then other stuff starts happening outside. They barricade themselves in with a few customers, and yeah, over the sort of next 24 hours, sort of things get worse and worse. It's well done, I think. Steve, considering your squeamishness, I think you made the right decision not to watch this one, especially since it starts with a bit of in media res where the guy's pulling out his fingernails to stop himself from scratching, basically, at one point. And
I'll be honest, that's ingenious.
it's it's not bad. I've been on holiday in the Philippines. My wife's Filipino, and I've been out there quite a few times. And each time I go, my body is like a smorgasbord for mosquitoes.
Oh no.
They absolutely love me, and I always come back with like loads of bites. And oh my God, the need to. I mean, this is before I discovered antihistamine, right? Once I discovered antihistamine, not so much, but oh my God, scratching. Because the thing is, when you scratch, all you're doing is spreading the infection, whatever. So you end up scratching even more. It's horrible. So yeah, I certainly felt a pang of empathy with what these people were going through. What did you make of it, Amanda?
I actually had a good time. It's not the most original story, but it did it well. The body horror is good. The woman tearing her own skin off was horrific.
Yeah.
And the characters, again, they're nothing new. It's the usual you get in those films. Like Parent with Cute Kid, that one asshole guy that like all of them have. I think I would have liked maybe a little bit more horror and action rather than talking, but it's still pretty good too.
Yeah, I thought so. There's another film you might be aware of called Splinter.
That's
Yeah.
what I was thinking it sounds like as well.
With Shea Wiggum and Jill
Mm.
Wagner. Yeah, it got a similar feel to that, except you know, it has the nihilism of sort of the Walking Dead, sort of the Night of the Living Dead films. Certainly, you know, there's no sudden cure or anything like that. You know, it's going to come anyone's way. The director Barry Kang is also the main lead in this. I think he does a good job in both roles. You know, his wife had died a year or so previously of cancer, and his daughter still hadn't recovered from it. You know, from the loss and stopped speaking. So that, you know, adds stress to the situation. One of the store workers has been accused of stealing, and he comes back demanding pay and all the rest of it, and that sort of spirals. Yeah, there's quite a bit going on, which I thought was you know, it was never boring, this one. Even you know, with a small cast in a sort of relatively confined space, I thought it did very, very well. How are you going to score it?
Probably a 6.
Yep. I'm going to go one higher. I'm going to go with a 7 for this one. So a 6 and a 7 for Itch. Try not to scratch. Go check it out. Our next film is Only Fangs. A wannabe monster hunter helps a bloodthirsty gang of vampire chicks expand their business by creating a new app to turn their victims into customers. Okay, now I think last episode we covered a film called Scream Therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, you know, is ostensibly a horror movie, but only, you know, it basically pays lip service to the horror bit and is more concerned with the relationships and the comedy side of things. This is something in a similar vein as far as I'm concerned, in that it works as a parody slash satire. It does not work as a horror film until towards the end. It starts, in fact, with a really, really horrible prologue set in, you know, the 18th century or something. I got the feeling it was meant to be shot day for night and then forgot to add the night filter to it. It's awful. The guy playing the master is awful. The music is awful. It's an awful prologue, which the film doesn't need. It's another one of these cases where there's 2 prologues and one of them can be kicked to the curb. However, once this gets going and we meet our lovable Oaf, who is Wes?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wes.
Yeah.
And his idiot friends, and they're, you know, flat earthers and conspiracy theorists and all the rest of it. I started to enjoy this, I must admit. I really did like it. I liked the satire it was going for. I mean, you could say they're easy targets, but I liked all the you know, the conspiracy stuff on YouTube and the commentators and all of that. I thought they did a good job. So yeah, for most of this film, I'd say I was on board. Steve, let's go with you first.
No, didn't like it.
I knew you'd say that.
Yeah, like you say, it's not a horror. It's trying to be a comedy, but I didn't find it funny. It kind of reminded me of like a 80s, you know, raunchy sex comedy, you know, like Porky's with vampires or something like that. And it just didn't work for me at all. I thought all the characters were totally unbelievable. And I thought the satire was actually, just seems to be crowbarred in. You know, it wasn't. it just wasn't naturally placed in the film. I just thought it just came out of nowhere. And, you know, you've got these like MAGA fanatics and stuff like that. And no, it just didn't work for me at all. I mean, some of the kills are quite inventive.
Hmm.
I'll give it that. Like when she bites his knob off, basically.
Oh, yeah.
And little things like that. But yeah, it's one of them. It's cheap, it's tacky, it's nasty, and just a bit flat. You know, didn't do anything for me really.
That's a shame. Amanda, how about yourself? What do you make of this?
I'm probably the opposite, and maybe it just did work for me. It's ridiculous, and it knows it, and it kind of leans into it. So I was like, yeah, sure, why not? All of that stuff about it being like internet and how fame and conspiracies and it's how that works and how like it can change people, blah blah blah. It's a bit on the nose, but you know what? I liked it. It's a good practical stuff. Looks good too. Yeah, it worked. Yeah.
The bit where at the beginning where Wes puts his video up online, saying I've finally seen like a vampire or whatever he says, and then he gets all the hate comments coming in and all the little videos. That's when it got me on board. I think because they nailed that so well. These sort of gatekeeper kind of assholes who like, no, you didn't see anything, all this sort of shit. I thought that was spot on, and the other bits as well that that sort of spun off the back of that. I was really on board with. So yeah, I did enjoy this a lot. I'm glad you did, Amanda. I'm not surprised you didn't, Steve.
Yeah.
Basically, given your track record for this kind of film. Okay. On that note, how are you going to score it? Amanda?
I'd probably give it a 7.
And Steve?
I'll give it a 3.
A 3. Well, I'm giving it a 7 as well. So 2 7s and a 3. I would say mileage will vary depending on how tolerant you are of low budget filmmaking. If you can get past the prologue, which, hands up, it is awful and out of tone with the rest of the film. Definitely, I think you'll get something out of it. So there you have it. 2 7s and a 3 for Only Fangs. Go check it out. Our next film is Scarborn, which was originally called Koz. This is a Polish film set in 1794 and follows General Kosciuszko's rebellion plan. Okay. A general's rebellion plan against the Russians in Poland. There's also another character called Ignac who has an encounter with Domingo, who brings him to the general's hideout where he must make a difficult decision. Right. So 2 things. The general is recently returned to Poland after fighting in the American Civil War, American-British Civil War. And he's bringing his experience from those battles, etc., and wants to raise an army in Poland against the Russians who are just basically riding roughshod over the country. At the same time, there's a character called Ignac, who is a peasant, but he's the bastard son of the local lord who's just died and left his will. And he steals the will because he's been told that he'll be looked after in it, but he needs to steal it because the legitimate heir wants to get it and erase him from history, basically. Alongside the general is Domingo, who is a freed slave who's come with the general to sort of basically train people to fight. And he has a run-in with Ignac and they help each other, despite sort of language barriers. How am I doing so far?
Yeah, I think that's
basically it, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a lot going on here.
There is a lot going on. I did like this to a point. Funny enough, you got these sort of main characters, but the more interesting one are the 2 women in the background.
Mm.
Yeah, and there's an interesting shot at the end of the film, and I'd say I would love a spin-off just following those two
Yeah.
because because they they were great. Um, there are some interesting sort of politics bits in here, especially with Ignac's his father's will and his interpretation of looking after him in inverted commas is blackly comic
Mm.
for sure. But I don't know, did that ending, the whole second half of the film takes place in this manner where the Russian general has come in and he's sort of toying with them. Did that sort of feel familiar to you, Amanda? A
A
certain
little bit.
Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, I noticed a lot well up when like there was like posters coming up, they were kind of leaning a bit Tarantino.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole ending, that whole thing around around the dinner table.
Mm.
It was like Inglorious Bastards, basically.
Yeah,
It's
that
like,
would maybe like the Hateful Eight or something. They're all sitting in this one
mm,
small area.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but yeah, there were shades of that, and I
Yeah,
could see like when I'd looked up many posters and stuff, that it was definitely shades of that when they were marking it.
they obviously realized what where they
Yeah.
were heading with it, but that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. It just that bit of familiarity with that setup. I thought they played it out quite well.
Mm.
Yeah, it leads to a decent sort of battle scene at the end. It was
Yeah.
overall pretty decent, but what were your thoughts on this?
I did quite like it. It was interesting to see a period film from like this perspective because I don't
Mm,
know enough about like that part of the world. I didn't know that people from Poland went
yeah,
to the US to help fight. Um, I did quite like the main character. I don't think he's really perceived as like a traditional hero. He's quite self-serving.
yeah,
And the film never really slows down, and it's like the film is trying to keep up with him.
mm,
Um, but yeah, there is a lot of stuff in there. There's some class stuff in there, how violence affects someone. And I don't think it resolves all of it perfectly.
no,
But I did like that it kept it all kind of close. It didn't like attempt anything too grand, apart from maybe the end.
yeah. It is interesting what it says about sort of class culture in
Mm.
especially in that part of the world, and the fact that I think the epilogue says something along the lines of when he does raise the army against the Cossacks, that he's mostly looking at the peasants to lead it, rather than the aristocracy.
Mm.
Um, some of the aristocrats, when we first meet them, they're absolute douchebags, but they do have a couple of moments, not exactly redeeming moments, but moments that allow you to say, well, at the end of the day, that they're still human, kind of thing, even
Mm.
though they're absolute wankers. Um, yeah, it's sort of little touches along the way. There's one nice scene where both Ignac and oh, what's his name? I just said Domingo, where when they show each other their scars,
Yeah.
because Ignac been sort of whacked with a stick. That was funny as well because Domingo goes, "Oh, you hit with a whip," and he's like, "No, of course not. A whip is for ladies, and a whip is for women and children. We get hit with a stick." Yeah, I thought that was quite funny in a sort of weird way.
Yeah, it
But
reminded me of that scene in Jaws, like that one scene
yeah,
where
yeah,
it goes
yeah,
to
yeah,
speed
exactly. Yeah,
down.
yeah,
Yeah.
mhm. Yeah. That was quite amusing as along those sort of lines. Yeah, so not bad. I don't know how tough a sell it's going to be
Mm.
to general audience because it is in Polish as well. I mean, although Domingo and the general do talk in English with each other, so there is that side to it, which does sort of help a bit with the accessibility of it. But it does have some good little scenes,
Mm.
well produced. Definitely worth checking out. How are you going to score it?
I'd probably give it a 7.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a very
Yeah.
solid film. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely did like it. 2 sevens for Scarborn. go check it out. Our next film is Touch Me. Two codependent best friends become addicted to the heroin-like touch of an alien narcissist who may or may not be trying to take over the world. Okay, so tentacle porn is not a subject I thought we would be touching on the DTV Digest anytime soon, but here we are.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting one in that I wasn't sure how far it was going to go. We've had other films which sort of skirted around its main subject matter, without actually sort of getting too much into the weeds, and still making a good film. And I think it's interesting because we've got two people who are pretty much unlikable.
Yeah.
For most of the film, they got the reasons for it, I guess. They are the people who that other people have made them to a certain degree. And then we got this alien who, on the face of it, is just this pansexual, horny guy looking to screw everyone and everything, neglecting to mention that if you happen to be incompatible with his nature, your head's going to explode, and various other things. It's I did like this. I think it's got a lot of style. It's got a lot of humor to it, as well as a lot of pathos. But it is pretty out there. What do you make of it?
Yeah, it's definitely weird as fuck. Yeah, like I say, it starts off and there's these two, well, like gay man, straight woman living together, and the like bathroom explodes, just covers it, everything in shit.
How does that happen?
Yeah. So they decide to go to this guy's house for the weekend, but she's had like a one night stand with him before.
I think it was more than one night stand.
Yeah. So
but
she knows he's an alien.
Yeah.
And it just gets weirder from there, and it's done, it's filmed really well. It looks really good. It's just very, very strange, because there's no real, it's very slow burn as well, really. There's no real action sequences there. There's a little bit of gore and stuff at the end.
Yeah.
But it's mainly just people sitting around talking or
having technical sex.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
But they are. I mean, the description says, "Oh, the aliens are narcissists." Yeah, these two aren't that far off.
No, exactly. There isn't a likable character in the whole film. Even the
even the maid,
the
housekeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's as you say, it's well made, well produced. I did like that sequence in the middle, where it turns to black and white when you find him abducting that guy, and it's like silent movie captions and things like that. I thought that was very, very clever as well. So without really sort of showing anything pornographic or anything like that, it does sort of handle a subject which is far removed from the mainstream, shall we say?
Yeah, and I kind of expected it to be a little bit not worse, but a little bit more extreme. Because it's not. It's actually quite romantic in a way. That's the weird. That's a weird way of putting it, but you know what I mean. It's not as extreme as I thought it was going to be. It's not more. It's not really horror-y in a way.
Yeah.
Well,
definitely more horror. Definitely more horror than only Fangs.
Yeah. But no, I actually enjoyed it. It kind of reminded me of that, the French. Was it the French one we watched a bit back?
Oh, where people sort of melding with their.
But not as weird as as out there as that like third act went.
Yeah. Yeah, without sort of like contemplating their navels,
Mm,
and
yeah.
actually, yeah, I enjoy this. I must admit, yeah, problematic characters and all. How
Yeah.
are you going to score it?
I'll give it a 7, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's solid 7, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a bit out there, as we say, but you're not likely to come across anything like this on your radar outside of some dodgy websites online. So yeah, 2 sevens. Go check it out. Our short shot this week is The Last Stand on Hoth. This is a Star Wars fan-made film, if you didn't realize. So, Hoth has fallen, but the battle is not over. As night descends on the frozen world, a small rebel force fights to reclaim Echo Base. Left behind during the evacuation is critical intelligence, secrets that could expose other hidden rebel strongholds. So this is a CGI enhanced, AI enhanced
Yeah, I mean,
shot?
it looked like it.
Yeah,
I'll be honest, because I was sat there watching it. My son watched it, and he's like, "Is this AI?" I'm like, "I think it is.
I think it
Some
is.
bits, yeah,
Yeah, or at least I think if not, they've managed to get hold of a soundstage, some decent costumes, and some really good special effects. Overall, I think this is good. It kind of feels almost like we're watching a trailer for something else.
yeah,
It feels like there's bits of scenes missing and sort of jumps to the next bit. There's very little context, yeah, but the way it plays out, it's as if we should know who these characters are,
mm,
you know,
yeah,
um, which would be good in a way, because there are some really interesting characters. There's a sort of the feisty X-wing pilot and her droid. That they could make really interesting characters going forward. There's
mm,
the grizzled veteran who's escaping on a tauntaun, that sort of thing.
yeah,
I like that it's playing with people outside of the main cast.
yeah,
If you think this sort of central characters, um, and hopefully it'd be good if they could sort of stick with some of these characters and sort of show what they get up to within the realms of what we know. So
mm,
yeah, but it did look great. That first shot of the Star Destroyer, listing upside down and on fire and stuff, just hovering
yeah,
above the planet. I thought that looked great. I thought that was a really good idea. Yeah, the stuff on the planet, it all looked good. It's just it's just because it is AI. It is sort
yeah,
of I don't know, knocks you out of the moment a little bit.
yeah,
What do you make of it?
yeah. I agree. It's like you're watching a TikTok. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Of the I don't know, so like some cats jumping on a trampoline or something like that. It's obviously AI or stupid,
mm,
and it kind of it took me out of it a bit. But like you say, it's very choppy. I mean, it some of it looks great. I mean, like the battle sequence, I thought looks really good and actually quite impressive. But it was more the guy at the control desk.
yeah.
You know what I mean? He had like I don't know, like a sheen on his face, and
Mm,
you could just tell. But the other bits look quite good. But it was just a bit choppy.
mhm,
Now I know when Rich sent it us, he did say watch. There's a behind the scenes as well. Watch that as well and tell me what you think. But obviously I didn't have a chance to watch it, so it
mm,
may have gone into it a bit more in depth in that and give us a bit more of why. I presume they've used it obviously because it's cheaper and they haven't, like I say,
mm,
they haven't got a massive sound studio and a yellow R2D2 robot lying
mm,
about it,
mm.
or AT-AT's lying about. But it looks good. Just that little uncanny vanishing, but I think it was just a little bit too choppy and it just jumped about a little bit too much with the scripts and stuff.
Yeah, I think so. But the ideas were good.
Yeah.
I think he's got some really good, solid ideas. This is made by a guy called Bo Wilder. Um, and he says he sort of based it on the sort of stories that he thought of when watching Empire, and all that sort of stuff. It's all good fun. Yeah, I mean, he's developed some interesting characters, and I think he should run with them. I'd love to know more. This is great. Just one comment from him on his YouTube page says, "I'm Bo Wilder. I make the kind of stories I grew up loving, a bit of 80s space adventure, grit, and practical feeling sci-fi. This film is inspired by the look and feel of the original Star Wars trilogy. This is just me playing with Star Wars toys in my sandbox." So yeah, I mean, he's pretty much said it. So yeah, this is fun, and it is good quality Star Wars fan film stuff. It takes an idea, set just after the evacuation of Hoth. I think it fits in with the canon quite nicely. So yeah, I hope fans go and check it out. We don't score the shorts, but we do recommend you go check them out, and you will find a link to this in the footnotes below. Go check it out. Our DTV throwback this week is The Marksman. With Russia on the brink of nuclear annihilation, there's only one man who can save it. An elite US Special Forces operative who's been ordered to take out a Chechen nuclear power plant before terrorists set off a live reactor explosion. We saw a Gary Daniels film not too long ago, which basically had the same intro to this. It's the training mission.
Yeah.
One man against. I thought that was amusing. Feeling a deja vu. Amanda, though, what did you make of The Marksman?
I mean, it has like a lot of promise, but it doesn't really manage it. That is very mid-2000s, when suddenly the Russians stopped being the bad guys, and then it was the Chechens. Who is it at the minute? Human traffickers or something? The ones that they go to now. I mean, Wesley Snipes is fine. He's trying his best. There's some like fun action stuff with helicopters, some fun action with like a tank. But other than that, yeah, I don't think it sticks out from any of the hundreds of other movies that came out at that time with like a similar premise.
And it doesn't have the swagger of that Gary Daniels film, hiding on top of a moving train without being spotted, and then doing a flying kick. Anyway, Steve, your thoughts on The Marksman?
Yeah, it is a bit mid, isn't it? I mean, it's Wesley Snipes beating Blade Trinity, basically. Just miserable, don't even smile, don't break a sweat. Just going through the motions, phoning it in. And I mean, to be fair, I think the plot is actually quite ingenious. We'll get the Russians to think that we're going to blow up this cooling this nuclear reactor that's been decommissioned, but we've actually recommissioned it in secret, and it'll kill everyone, and then it'll start a war between America and Russia, which I thought, actually that's quite a good plot, but it's just let down with the execution, basically. And it just, the ending's just like, all right, okay, is that it? Fair enough.
So, okay, this is like the prototypical DTV movie of the 2000s.
Yeah.
It's got this really horrible credit sequence where the titles come up, which are as cheap as chips. There's no sort of like real effort being put into them at all. The music is incredibly generic all the way through, and the film has that washed out look. It's like being drained of all color, apart from the explosions. You know, it's like, oh, you're not allowed color in these films. It might as well have been in black and white in times. You know, it looks so drab. You know, it didn't matter if it was in, you know, a disused nuclear facility in Chechnya, or if it was in, you know, an operations room at the White House or whatever it was. It just looked incredibly drab all the way through. You're right. I think Wesley Snipes is a waste of space in this. Clearly, he had other things on his mind.
Yeah, probably his tax bill.
His tax bill, basically. Everyone else I thought was doing reasonable stuff as far as the, you know, the plot and everything was concerned. But yeah, he was seriously phoning it in. This film needed a Gary Daniels, basically, is what it needed. Not a you know, a distracted Wesley Snipes, basically. I still enjoyed it up to a point because of, you know, the action scenes were actually quite well done for what it was. There was some good stuff with, like you mentioned, the tank, you know, smashing through the walls and things. The plot twist, because the plot twist came at exactly the point where I was thinking, well, this mission seems to be going incredibly straightforward. You know, there must be something more to it. And all of a sudden, plot twist. You know, I thought they timed that just right. So yeah, that was an interesting bit, for sure, the way that turned out. So overall, like I did enjoy it despite itself, if you see what I mean. But then I'd have eaten up films like this, you know, by the dozen, and then forgotten about them the next day. You know, this is my popcorn TV kind of stuff. We wouldn't have watched this if Wesley Snipes wasn't in the title. That has to be said, probably. You know, it's only because I'd never seen it, and I thought, well, okay, this is when he hit the DTV part of his career. But yeah, it's passable, but it should be a lot better. That's for sure. It should be a lot better for what it is. There's a lot of stock footage being used in this as well, with the fighter jets and things.
Yeah, that was
Lots and lots. Yeah, all that. But anyway, okay, we do not score the throwbacks, but we want you to check them out. This, like the Hollow Man, and this is a sort of Hollow Man 2, which we covered last time. It's one of a package of DTV movies that Netflix has picked up. It's also got like the Art of War films, which again was Wesley Snipes, I believe, at least in the first one. I'm hoping they're going to get the Principal films, so that would be cool to cover those. But there you go. Not the Principal, the Substitute. Have you seen those?
Tom Berenger, wasn't it?
Tom Berenger's in the first one, and then what's his name? The guy, Treat Williams.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
the other ones. Yeah, I would like to cover those at some point. But anyway, yeah, this is on Netflix. If you're a subscriber, go check it out. And that is the end of this week's show. So thanks, guys, for covering these films. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and X and Blue Sky at the DTV Digest. Also check out the Short Shots. We dropped an episode about martial arts films quite recently. We are prepping a new episode, which is ostensibly about action movies, but really it's more martial arts stuff, to be quite honest. But there is some really good stuff in there, and I'm looking forward to talking about them. Other than that, thank you for listening. Tune in next time.
Thank you for listening to the DTV Digest. Let us know your thoughts in the comments and tune in again next time.